What if the reason your life feels heavy isn't because you're weak, but because you've never been taught how to be mentally strong? Listen closely, because this moment matters. Most people drift through life reacting, blaming, waiting. Waiting for motivation, waiting for confidence, waiting for someone else to save them. But mentally strong people don't wait. They decide before the world forces them to react. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Strength is not loud, it's not dramatic. It doesn't scream on social media. Real mental strength is quiet. It shows up when no one is watching. It shows up when quitting feels logical. It shows up when excuses feel justified. And this is where everything changes. Because mental strength is not something you're born with. It's something you build, habit by habit, choice by choice, day after day. You don't wake up one morning fearless. You wake up one morning practiced. Practiced at choosing what matters over what feels easy. Practiced at standing still when everything inside you wants to run. Practiced at saying no to comfort and yes to growth. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. Your feelings are real, but they are not always truthful. They are signals, not commands. Mentally strong people understand this. They don't let emotions drive the car. They put them in the passenger seat. Fear can speak, doubt can whisper, anxiety can shout, but none of them get the steering wheel. And if you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or quietly disappointed in yourself, this isn't an attack. It's an invitation to stop asking why life is so hard and start asking who you are becoming in response to it. Because the strongest people you admire didn't avoid hardship. They were shaped by it. And today, you're going to learn the habits that separate those who endure from those who evolve. Not theory, real habits, built in silence, tested under pressure. And once you see them, you won't be able to unsee them. You don't build mental strength by waiting for confidence. You build it by acting without it. Most people believe confidence comes first and action comes second. Mentally strong people know the truth. Action creates confidence. They move before they feel ready. They speak before their voice stops shaking. They try before certainty shows up. And every time they do, something powerful happens. Their brain learns that fear is survivable. That discomfort is temporary. That progress is possible. Think about the first time you tried something that mattered. You were nervous, your heart raced, your mind searched for exits, but you did it anyway. And afterward, you didn't just finish the task. You became someone new, someone who knows they can act under pressure. This is the habit, doing the hard thing before motivation arrives. Not once, repeatedly. Mentally strong people don't wait to feel inspired. They schedule discipline. They understand that emotions are unreliable narrators. Some days they'll tell you you're capable. Other days they'll tell you to stay small. Strength is choosing not to listen. It's showing up when enthusiasm disappears. It's keeping promises to yourself even when breaking them would be easier. And this habit compounds. Every small follow-through becomes evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that you are not your moods. Evidence that you are stronger than your hesitation. Over time, this rewires identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hopes. You become someone who does. And once that shift happens, everything accelerates. Opportunities feel different, challenges feel different. Even failure feels different. Because you no longer ask, can I do this? You ask, what will I learn if I try? That question alone changes everything. Mentally strong people don't win because they're fearless. They win because they move while afraid. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act in its presence. And the more often you practice that decision, the quieter fear becomes. Mentally strong people don't avoid responsibility. They hunt for it. While others look for someone to blame, they look for what they can control. This is a hard habit because it removes comfort. Blame feels good in the moment. It protects the ego. It creates stories where you're always the victim, but strength demands honesty. And honesty asks a dangerous question. What part of this is mine? Even when circumstances are unfair, even when someone else caused the problem, even when the system is broken, mentally strong people still ask, what can I do next? This doesn't mean accepting abuse or denying reality. It means reclaiming power. Because the moment you accept responsibility, you gain the ability to change outcomes. Think about the moments that shaped you the most. The failures that hurt, the losses that lingered, the times you felt behind. None of those moments improved when you blamed someone else. They improved when you decided to grow, when you chose to learn, when you asked better questions. Responsibility is heavy, but it's also freeing because it puts you back in the driver's seat. Mentally strong people don't say, this happened to me, so I'm stuck. This happened, so what's my next move? And here's the paradox. The more responsibility you take, the less powerless you feel. You stop waiting for permission. You stop needing validation. You stop hoping someone will notice your effort. You become self-directed. And that changes how the world responds to you. People trust those who take responsibility. Opportunities follow those who own outcomes. Leadership emerges from those who don't hide when things go wrong. This habit is not glamorous. It doesn't get applause. It often happens quietly in moments where no one would blame you for quitting. But this is where strength is forged, not in praise, in accountability. And once you build this habit, excuses lose their grip. You stop explaining and start executing. You stop defending and start improving. And slowly, consistently, your life begins to reflect the person you decided to become. Mentally strong people don't fear discomfort. They respect it. They understand that discomfort is not a warning sign. It's a growth signal. Most people spend their lives trying to eliminate discomfort. They avoid hard conversations. They delay difficult decisions. They distract themselves from uncertainty. But strength grows in the opposite direction. It grows when you lean into what feels uncomfortable but meaningful. Think about physical strength. Muscles don't grow by staying comfortable. They grow by being stressed, challenged, pushed beyond familiarity. The mind works the same way. Every time you stay in a hard conversation instead of escaping, you build resilience. Every time you choose effort over ease, you build endurance. Mentally strong people train themselves to stay present when things feel awkward, tense, or uncertain. They don't rush to escape silence. They don't numb discomfort with distraction. They sit with it long enough to learn from it. And this habit changes how they experience fear. Fear stops being a stop sign and becomes a compass. It points toward growth, toward truth, toward progress. This doesn't mean they enjoy discomfort. It means they don't let it control their decisions. They understand that comfort is seductive. It promises safety but delivers stagnation. Discomfort, on the other hand, feels risky but delivers growth. And over time, something fascinating happens. The things that once scared you become familiar. The things that once overwhelmed you become manageable. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Mentally strong people don't ask, how do I get rid of this discomfort? They ask, what is this discomfort teaching me? And that question transforms anxiety into information, pressure into preparation, stress into strength. This habit builds confidence that is unshakable because it's earned. It's not based on praise, it's based on proof. Proof that you can survive hard things. Proof that discomfort doesn't destroy you. It refines you. And once you trust that, you stop running. You start rising. Mentally strong people guard their energy fiercely. They know that not everything deserves their attention. Not every opinion matters. Not every battle is worth fighting. Weakness is reacting to everything. Strength is choosing what to engage with. In a world that constantly demands your attention, this habit is critical. Mentally strong people don't get pulled into every argument. They don't chase validation from people who don't understand them. They don't over-explain their choices to those committed to misunderstanding them. They understand that attention is currency, and they spend it intentionally. This means setting boundaries, saying no without guilt, walking away without drama, protecting time without apology. And yes, this makes some people uncomfortable, but strength isn't about being liked. It's about being aligned. Aligned with values, aligned with purpose, aligned with long-term goals. Mentally strong people don't confuse urgency with importance. Just because something is loud doesn't mean it matters. Just because someone is upset doesn't mean you're wrong. They pause, they assess, they choose. This habit reduces noise, it creates clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions. Over time, this discipline compounds into focus. And focus is rare. Focus allows deep work, deep relationships, meaningful progress. While others are scattered, mentally strong people are centered. While others are exhausted by constant reaction, they are steady. This doesn't mean they're emotionless. It means they're intentional. They feel deeply, but they don't bleed everywhere. They choose when to engage and when to conserve energy. And that choice keeps them moving forward when others burn out. Strength is not doing more. It's doing what matters and letting the rest go. Mentally strong people accept reality quickly. They don't waste energy wishing things were different. This doesn't mean they like reality. It means they face it. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance creates strategy. When something goes wrong, most people linger in denial. They replay the past. They ask, why me? Mentally strong people acknowledge what is and immediately ask what now. This habit saves time. It saves energy. It prevents emotional spirals. Acceptance is not surrender. It's the first step toward effective action. Once you see clearly, you can plan clearly. Mentally strong people don't confuse hope with strategy. Hope without action is avoidance. They ground themselves in facts, even when facts are uncomfortable, even when facts hurt pride, because reality doesn't care about feelings, but progress does care about clarity. This habit creates momentum. Instead of fighting what already happened, they focus on what can happen next. They stop reliving mistakes and start correcting them. And this forward focus builds resilience, because life will always change, plans will fail, people will disappoint. Strength is adapting without bitterness. It's adjusting without losing direction. And those who master this habit waste less time stuck and more time building. Mentally strong people don't need external validation to keep going. They are internally anchored. They don't measure success by applause. They measure it by alignment, by effort, by growth. Praise feels good, but it's not required. Criticism hurts, but it's not defining. This habit creates independence. They don't quit when recognition disappears. They don't inflate when praise arrives. They remain steady. This internal compass allows long-term consistency. It allows them to work in obscurity, to build when no one is watching, to continue when results are delayed. Mentally strong people know that the most meaningful progress often happens quietly. And because they are not dependent on external approval, they are harder to manipulate, harder to derail, harder to discourage. Their motivation comes from identity, not opinion. And that makes it durable. Mentally strong people choose meaning over pleasure. They understand the difference. Pleasure is immediate. Meaning is lasting. Pleasure says avoid pain. Meaning says endure it for something bigger. This habit shapes decisions daily. It influences how they spend time, energy, and attention. They invest in skills instead of distractions, in relationships instead of approval, in long-term goals instead of short-term comfort. This doesn't mean they never enjoy life. It means enjoyment is intentional, not escapism. Meaning provides fuel when motivation fades. It gives context to sacrifice, and in difficult moments, meaning answers the question, why continue? Mentally strong people have that answer ready, and because of it, they endure what others abandon. Mentally strong people reflect, but they don't ruminate. They learn, then they move forward. Reflection extracts lessons. Rumination repeats pain. This habit protects mental health. They review mistakes without self-attack. They analyze outcomes without identity collapse. Failure becomes data, not a verdict. This allows growth without shame. They improve without self-destruction. Over time, this builds confidence rooted in learning. They become adaptable, resilient, calm under pressure, because they know they can handle outcomes without losing themselves. And that quiet confidence changes how they show up everywhere. And finally, mentally strong people understand this truth. Strength is built daily, not discovered suddenly. It's built in small decisions, in choosing effort over excuses, honesty over comfort, purpose over fear. There is no finish line, no moment where you arrive and stop practicing. Strength is a lifestyle, a commitment. And if you choose it today, even imperfectly, even slowly, your future self will thank you. Because the life you want is on the other side of the habits you keep.